Every day as a team, DNS rolls on thousands of trouble calls. For many of you, these trouble calls have become routine. Even though we do these day in and day out, it's important to make sure that we never lose sight of the overall customer experience. The customer is having issues with our service. They've probably missed their favorite show. They've had to call the call center and spend time on the phone trying to fix the issue with no success. Now they have to take time out of their day, possibly a day off of work, to wait for someone from Dish to show up and fix their issue. This is very frustrating from the customer's point of view, and part of that frustration might come out when a technician arrives at the door. This is where you all come to the rescue. You are not only tasked with fixing their issue, but also with rebuilding their confidence in Dish. Every customer is extremely valuable to us, and we need to make sure that we treat them that way. Once you're assigned a trouble or service call, you own the customer's issue, regardless of what caused it to begin with. Taking ownership of the situation is key to customer satisfaction. Don't blame the call center or other technicians. This does not help to rebuild confidence in Dish and can actually do more harm than good. You're there to solve the problem. When you arrive on site, be empathetic and apologize for the situation. Remember they are having issues that couldn't be fixed over the phone and could be taking a day off of work to wait for you. Assure the customer that you're going to resolve their issue and inspect their system so they won't have issues in the future. Thank them for taking time out of their day so we could help them. With the customer in mind, let's review the VIP troubleshooting process, take a look at some of the key takeaways, and cover the final quick checks to be completed after troubleshooting is complete. The Troubleshooting Job Aid is a guide that will help you troubleshoot every technical issue effectively and efficiently. It was created after hundreds of ride-alongs with your top-performing peers. These are technicians who managed to maintain a TC12 below 1% for an entire year. The TJA lets you know their secret to success. Following every step in the TJA will help you learn an effective, repeatable process that will ensure that you don't miss any simple fixes or underlying issues in the customer system. And it will help you regain the customer's confidence in Dish. Steps 1, 2, and 3 in the Troubleshooting Job Aid cover preparation, customer confirmation, and initial troubleshooting steps. Though seemingly elementary, these steps help set you up for success right away. They help you build rapport and instill confidence in the customer that you can resolve their issue correctly. Be as prepared as possible. If there are account notes available, look them over carefully so that you know the customer's issue before you arrive on site. Look and see if the CSC or a previous tech left any notes to help you gain further insight into the problem. The more you know about the customer's history, the easier it'll be to show them you care and are ready to get the job done. Bring the Super Buddy with you to the customer's door. It's a high-tech piece of equipment that shows the customer you've got the right tools for the job at hand. Don't skip any of the initial troubleshooting steps. They're basic steps, but very important. They're quick and can usually be completed in less than 5 minutes. You can lose minutes, even an hour, if you don't follow the steps exactly as they appear in the TJA. Steps 4 and 5 cover running a limit scan behind the receiver. Depending on the results, you'll know whether you're following the path for signal troubleshooting or set-top box to TV troubleshooting. The TJA is a systematic approach to troubleshooting that you should try and use every time. That being said, there's always room for common sense. For example, if you notice that the dish is hanging upside down off the roof when you're walking up to the customer's door, performing a limit scan wouldn't make too much sense. Instead, after you have greeted the customer and gotten more info from them, such as how the dish ended up upside down, go ahead and fix the dish. Afterwards, make sure you go back and perform a limit scan and check the cables to make sure there are no other issues. Unplug the receiver from power before attempting to detach the coaxial cable. If there is a diplexer or triplexer, use the cable that feeds into that component. Understand the difference between DBM and IRD. IRD is signal quality. For example, when you peak a dish, you try to get the maximum signal strength for your area, 72 for example. DBM is signal power. This measures how much power is pushing the signal through the system. In other words, how far the signal can travel along the cable. If you have a high quality signal but don't have enough power to get it to the receiver, the system will not work well. Whenever possible, have the customer present for the initial limit scan. Let the customer know that you will have run diagnostics on the system and will either be working inside or outside to resolve their issue. The goal of using the meter to help diagnose the issue is not only to help you out, but to also regain the customer's confidence that you will fix their issue. Step 6A is for signal troubleshooting. This is the path you'd take if the initial limit scan failed behind the receiver. The concept for signal troubleshooting is simple. Perform limit scans at every junction until you get a pass. A pass tells you that the signal strength and signal power are above the average for the area. This would mean that signal and power are acceptable from this point to the dish. So for example, if you get a pass on the dish side of the ground block, the signal after the ground block, all the way to the LMBF is good. A fail on the receiver side of the ground block allows you to conclude that the issue is with the ground block itself. Do not skip any steps. Even if you suspect that the issue is with a particular component outside the house, you can't start outside. You must run limit scans systematically, starting from behind the receiver and out to the LMB. This will help ensure you identify any issues and also identify secondary issues throughout the system. Step 6B is for set-top box to TV troubleshooting. This is the path you'd take if the initial limit scan passed behind the receiver. The goal of receiver troubleshooting is to systematically check components and cables until you find the root cause of the customer's issue. When performing a limit scan around triplexers and separators, read the signal levels carefully. The limit scan at these components will always result in a fail. This is because they only allow signal from either odd or even transponders. So don't rely on a pass or a fail. Check the values for IRD and dBm individually. When it becomes necessary to try a different type of cable between the STB and TV, don't downgrade the customer. If the customer had an HDMI cable, use a component cable since the video quality is similar. It's not acceptable to downgrade a customer with HD to an SD cabling solution. Follow all of the steps as they are outlined in the TJA and avoid unnecessary receiver replacements. Once the customer's technical issue is resolved, perform final quick checks on the system. The checks are designed to help you identify secondary issues or prevent other issues that may arise in the future. Consider that if you had performed STB to TV troubleshooting, you wouldn't have checked any of the components outside of the house yet. There's no sense in rolling a truck back to a job when a quick once-over on the installation can prevent it. If you notice that something isn't up to standard, remember this is your job now, from a QA, TC, and customer satisfaction perspective. To begin, let's start outside of the dish mount. Be sure that there's still clear line of sight and no nearby foliage growth is threatening the signal. Make sure that the mount is secure and that there are the correct number of lag screws. This will ensure the customer has the best signal strength possible now and in the future. Next, check the cabling and components. Be sure that the cable is RG6 and in good condition. All connections and fitting must be secured and torqued properly. Check that there are drip loops where needed and that they're installed properly. Drip loops help ensure that water migration doesn't damage the cables or components. If it appears that water might migrate towards a connection, a drip loop will be needed. Move on to grounding. Check that there is an approved ground block and that the system is grounded to an approved source like the meter box. Finally, check connectivity and provide customer education. The customer will feel more confident in the work you've just done if you're able to explain exactly where the issue is stemming from and what you did to resolve the issue. Remember, blaming another technician or call center agent does not explain the issue. If the install was the issue, just say so without bad-mouthing the prior technician. Be sure the customer knows that you conducted a thorough check of the system after you resolved their issue as well. Even though it's a required part of troubleshooting, the customer will feel like you've gone above and beyond your job to make sure their system is working properly. Just like you'd feel if you went to a mechanic for an oil change and they threw in a free multi-point inspection on your engine and suspension. It feels good to know they took the time and that all the other components of your vehicle are running smoothly. Next, make sure the customer feels confident with their system by reviewing and quizzing the customer on the 5 basic troubleshooting steps. Just as with regular customer education, you want to ensure they understand the basics. Make sure the customer can put the dish remote in SAT mode. Make sure they understand the correct input or channel to be on. Make sure they understand favorite lists. Ensure they know what to do during snow buildup or heavy rain. If it's safe, they can remove the obstruction or wait for the storm to pass. And verify they know how and when to perform a reset on the receiver. Once you're sure the customer is satisfied with the resolution and confident they are comfortable with basic troubleshooting, the process is complete. Be sure to add account notes to document the customer's issue and what you've done to resolve it. This will help any future technician who services this customer. Be sure to select the correct resolution codes in ETA Direct. This will help us find trends and resolve issues more quickly in the future. The troubleshooting process, including final quick checks, contains systematic steps to help you complete your jobs more efficiently and more effectively. By practicing this process step by step every time as it's detailed in the troubleshooting job aid, you will improve your points per hour on trouble and service calls, and it will help you avoid repeat TCs. Most importantly, it will help ensure we take care of our customers and regain their confidence in DISH. The TJA was developed by using the processes of your top performing peers, and it's intended to make your job easier. With practice and patience, you can develop the confidence and skills to approach any technical issue with ease. Thanks for joining us.